Hey yo guys, time for my TNA Lockdown pay-per-view review. Lockdown was last night from the Sonjay Arena in Lowell, Massachusetts, and overall it was a meh pay-per-view. I mean, it was like, it wasn't 100% bad, but it wasn't 100% good. It was just like meh, really. But anyways, let's just get to the review. The show opened with Mike today and being in the cage saying how Joe's match is more than just a match, it's about his career on the line. And then we had a video package where the steel or the cage was talking to us and saying how it was going to inflict pain on the people tonight. And then we went, once we got into the arena, we had Don West and Jeremy Borash in the crowd trying to get predictions for the main event. And it was just funny when Jeremy Borash and there was a guy in a Triple H shirt, which like, good job TNA, way to spot out the WWE guy in the WWE shirt. But then once we got underway 100%, we got the X Division Xscape match to start out the show, which I thought was the good match to start out the show because the crowd was hot and you needed these guys to go. So it was Jay Lethal defending against Curryman, the Guru, Sonjay, Dutt, Johnny Devine, Shark Boy, and Consequences Creed. So this one did start out like how you normally were going to start it out with and Johnny Devine starting it, but then all four started to get in there. Lethal was dominating. He did the surfboard on Devine, and Lethal did the surfboard on Devine, and Sonjay hit a moonsault on there. They did a Tower of Doom spot, but Johnny Devine held on, and then Creed ran up and tossed Devine off the top of the cage. And then that's what led to Dutt getting eliminated by Johnny Devine via the roll-up. Devine went for a shooting star press, which I thought was like, wow, I didn't even know the dude could even deliver that. Curryman did a flip on Creed and Devine off the top rope. Curryman got the spice rack, or before that, Creed hit the Creed ET on Shark Boy to eliminate him. Then Curryman got the spice rack on Creed to eliminate him. Then after that, we had Devine hit the Devine intervention on Curryman in him, so it came down to Devine and Lethal. Devine taped up Jay Lethal's hand to the rope, which led to him trying to get over the top. He was basically over, and then Sonjay Dutt cut him out because he was still at ringside after he got eliminated, and Lethal dove through the door to retain. So, you know, it was a good match and all. I mean, they did some pretty nice spots, but, I mean, that's what this match really is all about, the spots. I mean, not really storytelling here. But they gave this thing about 10 minutes when last year's they definitely gave him a solid 20, which is what this needed. I felt the eliminations were coming way too quick. You didn't need to eliminate these guys that quickly. And I didn't think you needed to eliminate Shark Boy second. I thought you could add more teamwork from Curryman and Shark Boy, but whatever. It wasn't a bad match. It was an okay, decent little opener. Not as good as what happened at Destination X. Then we went to the Queen of the Cage match. Christy, Hemme, Selinas, Jacqueline, Traci Brooks, Angelina, Laveaux, Sky, Rhaka, and Roxxie Laveaux. So basically, we had the women on the floor for a minute, and all these women who didn't get in there got paid lots of money for throwing right hands all night. Love got in there uninterrupted so quick, and then Roxxie got in after she stopped Velvet Sky. So that was pointless. Considering these two are technically feuding, you could have just made this a cage match and not have all these other women. But whatever. I mean, they worked was a better than average WWE Diva match, but still, I mean, I would have maybe just made this a normal match. Basically, all that happened was Laveaux got the voodoo drop and got the win, and now she's the #1 contender, which I think is good because the women's division does need some new blood, and she can work, which is a good thing. Then we went to Kip James versus BG James, and after all, this was one of the better hype matches. I mean, not on the show with the Tiger stuff with Kip, but this is one of the better hyped matches on the show. And then once, I believe, Kip had a sleeper hold, all they could talk about was after the match we're going to have an interview with Kurt Angle. Completely killed the significance of this match. So then from there on, why should I care? I mean, Kip did a lot of stuff. He hit the famouser BG kicked out. I mean, I didn't like that killing his finish, but whatever. And then BG got the win with the roll-up, and then after the match it looked like they were gonna, be reunited, but Kip obviously turned on him, and yeah, I mean, now the feud continues, which we really didn't need. I thought they worked a pretty decent match, obviously better than Queen of the Cage, but still, I was expecting a bit more. And then we went to Cuffed in the Cage. Oh, God. I mean, I don't know why TNA decided to throw like 30 guys in a cage. I mean, they must have some fetish with that or something. It was Rave Infection, Kaz and Super Eric, Rellik and Black Rain, Motor City Machine Guns, LAX, Scott Steiner, and Petey Williams in here. Before the match, Kaz and Eric Young got attacked, and Eric Young couldn't come out. Steiner started off cleaning house, and then he eventually got double teamed or quadruple teamed and got cuffed. Then Williams got cuffed by Shelly. Kaz hit the Wave of the Future on Sabin and then let him get cuffed. That was a cool little spot. Rain cuffed Williams, Hernandez to the Cracker Jack on Rave into the cage. Kaz hit the Flux Capacitator on Rave off the top of the cage, and Lance Hoyt hit a vicious chokeslam off the top of the cage to pretty much set up the Kaz getting cuffed. Then Super Eric came down, as we obviously thought, and cleaned house, cuffed the Rock and Rave Infection and Black Rain and Rellik to get the win for him only. A team win, it was just him getting the win. So then we went to Awsome Kong and Raisha Saeed versus Gail Kim. And what was a kind of disappointing women's match, because you knew all the talent in here, but still, I mean, it was better than most of the stuff we'd seen on the card so far. I mean, I was kind of surprised that they let Gail Kim and Raisha Saeed do most of the work in this one and leave Kong on the apron. But, you know, Saeed can definitely work. That was proven here. I mean, I knew she could, but those of those doubters who didn't know, she could definitely work here. I mean, Gail Kim hit the Hurricane Run off the top of the cage, which is the spot everyone's going to remember. And basically the finish came when ODB got a frog splash off the top rope, like actually the rope, and on Saeed to get the win. I mean, I do like this, that you had to get them the win there. I mean, add more fuel to the fire in there. But hey, these ladies did work well together. I mean, I thought the timing here could have gone a lot longer, because you know the talent in this match. But still, I mean, it was better than most stuff we'd seen on the card so far. Then we went to the mixed tag match, Robert Roode and Payton Banks versus Booker T and Sharmell. This match, Booker T and Robert Roode worked like the majority of it, obviously, but really, they did such a simple match, but I was like mesmerized by it. I thought this was Robert Roode's best match I've seen him in. To be honest with you, this was Roode's best match I'd seen him in. Because, I don't know, there's something about him, he was on as a heel that night. I just felt he was on in this match, and I mean, granted they worked a simple, basic, like, you know, Sunday Night Heat match, but still, it was good. And Sharmell came in and got the roll-up on Payton Banks, and then to get the win for Booker T and Sharmell. And then after the match, it looked like Roode was going to hit Payton, and I didn't like all of a sudden got dragged back to square one, where they're doing the same thing with Banks as they did Traci Brooks, and I'm just like, can't you just have Roode have a woman who be with him for a while? Like, God. And then we went to Lethal Lockdown, Team Cage versus Team Tomko. I did like the start of this one, I will say, when Tomko came out, and Cage thought it was for sure going to be Tomko, but Styles hit the flying forearm off the top rope. I did like that. But really, this match, not the best. The worst Lethal Lockdown in the history of the Lethal Lockdown concept. Well, let's just run through. Team Tomko got the advantage, so after Styles and Cage battled it, and then came Brother Devine, then out came Rhino, then came for Team... Yeah, after Rhino, then came James Storm, then came Kevin Nash, then came... who the hell was on this team? Brother Devine, and then came Morgan, then came Tomko, then came Sting, and then these guys just bashed the shit out of each other with trash cans in the head, like they couldn't hit any other body spot. They just totally obliterated each other's in the head. Especially Cage, when him and Storm were on the top, Storm's leg was caught. Cage just waylaid the hell out of his head there. I didn't really like that. I didn't think he needed to do that. And there was that big spot in the cage where Cage and Styles were fighting on top of this ladder on top of the cage, and Storm pushed him off. Not much really happened in this one. I thought Matt Morgan had a decent debut. I liked how AJ reversed out of the chokeslam. I thought AJ shined very much in this match. He was the star of the match in this one. And yeah, I mean, even surprising, Sting was one of the guys to take this shot in the head. And Rhino gored James Storm as he came back into the cage. So, I mean, that was the match. Definitely the worst Lethal Lockdown, but, I mean, you really couldn't expect. You had a lot of big guys in this match, not allowed to move around. Then we go to the main event, the TNA World Heavyweight Championship match. Kurt Angle versus Samoa Joe. I like the addition of Frank Trigg on commentary here because, come on, look at who you got on your left and right. Don West and Mike Tenay. Like, come on. I liked how they started with the UFC philosophy with these little mini things before they entered. I did like that. I mean, they actually tried to go full UFC with them standing up, and, you know, Joe would try and do a ground and pound. But eventually the moves got in, like Angle hit a figure 4 leg lock, which I thought Joe sold fantastically. What else happened in here? Joe got a nice power bomb on Angle, but eventually, I mean, Joe hit this big moves. He hit the big side slam in the corner, and, you know, he got the win with the Muscle Buster, which shocked me because I thought they would have built up to a Coquina clutch here since this was an MMA type match. And yeah, I mean, he evidently Angle eventually hurt himself. Apparently, Joe knocked him out during the match at one point, or briefly knocked him out. But yeah, I mean, and even though the crowd was pretty much hot during this match, they didn't seem that interested in when Joe. I think it was just more because of the fact that either they knew he was going to win for sure, or this finish came out of nowhere. But anyways, that's it for me with my review of TNA's Lockdown. Overall rating, thumbs in the middle. Anyways, that's it for me. I'm out. Peace.